Good morning. It's a lovely morning. I'm up here first thing. I've been waiting for a little break in the weather because I've had an awful lot of rain and wind and all sorts going on over the last couple of weeks. So my aim today is to get round to the back into my secret garden to see how all the squash are doing there. But I found a way to get there without the ladder, thank goodness. Although I have to say, it isn't any easier, I don't think, but possibly a little bit less risky. I'll show you once I get these boots on. It's going to be a lot of climbing through the mud, so get me worst boots on. So just a little recap in case you're not familiar. This is the fence for the outside back boundary of my allotment. On the other side of it, there's like a strip of no man's land. So we have been taking ladders and getting over here through the summer, and I planted a whole pile of squash plants. I did it really quite late in the year. It was a bit too late. There's a huge amount of weed pressure. So I'm going to go over there now and see if we've got any squash. I think we've got some small ones, but don't get your hopes up too much because I don't think there's much. So I've got my secateurs, I've got my gloves, I've got a bag in case I've got so many squash I need a bag to carry them home, but I think that's unlikely. We're heading off out the front gate. Made it. So as suspected, there's not a lot going on. There's a couple of little squashes though, which I'll pick now. The plants aren't quite finished, but you know, I don't think they're going to grow anymore now. So we'll get them all up, and that'll be that for the secret garden for this year. So tiny little butternut squash. This one is Anna Schwartz. This is the best one by far and away, and I think this is a Boston squash. One of only two that I've managed to grow out of many that I've planted. Not bad. That's my final haul for all that work. Never mind. I think it was a good first year. As I say, I didn't get these until quite late on in the summer. If I can get, I think I'll probably just do squash again next year, because you know it just takes very little care once it's in, and it'll have the best chance of smothering the weeds again. But if I can get them in early, and you know, if these had been able to grow for another couple of months, they would have been good sizes. I'm still quite happy. So what else is happening in the allotment this October? Not a lot really. This big border behind me, I had my squash in here, my winter squash. Took them out a couple of weeks ago. I'm waiting to get a bit more compost. I've got some compost on there, but I need a bit more. We need to dig out the hen run and get the compost out of there. And the garlic is going in there. I've got my garlic ready to go. I'm going to put onion sets in there as well. I really must get onto it. It needs to happen in the next week really. So yeah, that's what's going to happen there, and I'll give you a quick scoot round and show you what else is happening. So this border here is the one that's had the courgettes in. There's still some courgettes there. I've just been leaving them till the very last minute because they've had tiny little courgettes on, but I think I'll just take this out today because I haven't checked them for a week, and if they haven't gotten any bigger, the courgettes, by this time they're not going to. See, tiny little courgettes like that, they're just not growing now, they're just sitting there. So I think I'll just take this plant out. My red cabbages are coming along all right. I've got a few decent ones. I'm going to take one today. I mean, they're not massive. They're quite neat and small, but that's all right. Sometimes you don't want a massive cabbage, do you? But I'm happy enough as long as they're clean. That's the main thing, and that one looks quite good. Everything seems to be taking a long time to die back this year, I find. For being well into October, there's still masses of growth everywhere. These runner beans, I've usually got them out well before now. We wait for the pod to dry on the plant and then take it for the beans inside. But the pods, I mean, we've had a lot, but there's still plenty on there that haven't shown any attempt to start drying yet. But I think we're going to have to take these out soon because they're starting to topple over, and I've got lots of kale and swedes along here, and I don't want them to get crushed. This is my swedes, which for the first time I seem to be having a moderate amount of success with. I've never had any success before, but these are actually, that one's still pretty little, they're actually growing, and I might get a decent sized swede. I mean, look at that, I'm happy with that. And this border looks so pretty, I'm very happy with it. I planted it in late, after the potatoes all came out, after the main crop came out, and I put beetroot and chard and kale back here. Really the chard and the kale are for the hens, obviously the beetroot's for us, but it just looks nice, doesn't it? It's a very pretty display for this late in the year, and you know, I think the chard and the kale will just sit there all winter hopefully. And on the other side of this border with the chard and the kale, I've got all these leeks which are coming along great. I had a great deal of weed pressure because a whole load of grass seed got into there. I mean, it's still a bit weedy, but it's not too bad, and the leeks are doing all right. I've already harvested a few kind of baby leeks. I'm not sure how much bigger these will grow this year because it's getting late in the season, but I'm just going to leave them to sit there all winter. I'll just take some when I want them, and hopefully they'll see me through until next spring. I had celery in that patch there, which I eventually harvested last week. I decided it wasn't going to grow anymore. I've just chopped it up and put it in the freezer for flavouring soups and making sauces. And that's the Asturian tree cabbage, which is still firing away. producing lots of leaves. I found it does seem prone to getting nibbled by something. I don't know what it is. So a lot of the leaves have got holes in. It's good for the hens. As I said last time, I don't think I'll grow it again. If it survives the winter, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, I'll probably just stick to normal cabbages. I've got about 3 or 4 of these patty pan squash dotted around the garden. They haven't given us much, but they're still producing fruit. But I don't think these fruit are going to grow anymore. I've left them, same as the courgettes, to see if they would get any bigger, but they're not. They're just tiny little things. So I think I'm just going to take them before the slugs get them. Baby veg costs a fortune, and Waitrose are somewhere if you could afford to shop in such a place, doesn't it? Look at that. If someone gave you that in a posh restaurant, you'd be delighted. If anybody can remember, I was growing this as an experiment. It's goose foot that you can eat the leaves from as a salad, but I had later found out it's actually a type of wild quinoa, and you wait for it to flower and then harvest the seeds, and that's the quinoa, which I was looking forward to because this has got a lot of flowers on. But as you see, it snapped off. I came up one day and the wind had blown it over, so I was a bit gutted about that, but never mind. It's still good knowledge to have. So I feel as if I've still got quite a lot going on. Is this on? Aye. So I feel as if I've still got quite a lot of food growing in the ground, actually. More than usual at this time of year for me. I've got a big border of New Zealand yams, which will be ready around December time. They are just doing their thing and coming along nicely. I've got some purple sprouting broccoli, again, that's just doing its thing. I've got some different types of cabbages. I've got those purple cabbages that you've just seen me harvest one, but I've also got some later ones, winter, spring ones, which are just doing their thing, as I keep saying. Lots of leeks in different borders spread around, lots of kales for the hens. What else have I got? I've got potatoes that I put in as an experiment to see if we could get some late potatoes. They are doing well. Oh, I must tell you as well, we had a whole pile of volunteer potato plants growing in the back garden. They grew massive. They swamped over the whole patio, but I just let them grow. Anyway, we decided to dig them up last week. What a haul! Considering I didn't plant them or plan them. I think they were a cross between some pig fir apples, and I think there was Charlottes in there as well, and they were all beautiful and healthy. So that was a real bonus. It was like a full extra potato crop I had. So that's really boosted me stores. Things have been getting quite neglected lately, actually, because we've had a lot of bad weather. But I think I need to spend a couple of good hard sessions here clearing borders, weeding, and getting it tidied up a bit for the winter coming. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the little video today, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.